to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want us to look at something here. I have been saying, and that people have been asking Raila that give us direction, because that is the question that I've seen Twitter Battalion saying that the plot, or rather discrediting the results, is not enough. And what I'm wondering is whether the Twitter Battalion are going to take up that direction if it is given out. Raila have options of going soft or going hard, but I'm not seeing signs of a soft move. I'm seeing signs of a hard move. I know that Kenyans have different perceptions over Raila Odinga's announcement, or rather over the whistleblower report. As to whether Raila got 8 million votes or 6.9 depends entirely on your political affiliation. William Ruto's supporter believes Ruto won. Raila Odinga's supporter believes Raila won. However, I want to show you something. That in real sense, something is happening since this thing came out. Kenya Kwanza have come out talking, but there is a suspicious silence from the IEBC. That silence, I know that to some extent, the report came when the commission was everyone was almost leaving, the people now, but the secretariat is remaining with full communication department there, but they are all silent. That silence, many have understood it as just a retreat so that they abstain from that conversation. But also political observers say that maybe umepatikana, sasa hakuna kitu utasema. I don't know which one works out. So in this video, I want us to look at the interpretation of the IEBC's silence. However, before I look at that, I want you to look at this video seen here. I have seen Azimio la Umoja now envisioning the 8 million votes that Raila had. They are now creating tools for this, and it's a start. I know that it's simple to say we are going to a rally, we're going to this, we're going to that. But when you see, like what Jeremiah Kioni is doing, when you see him talking about this issue of the votes this way, then they have started visualizing. When these 8 million votes are spoken in rallies and maybe panelists discussing, it's easy to say it's being discussed. But I don't see Odinga stopping at the rallies. He's simply going to stop at nothing, or nothing looks maybe a block that can stop him. This is imagery that they are now doing to show that something is going on. Raila spoke today during an event, and that event I think was in Nairobi, meeting some few ODM leaders, and it seems they want the conversation to keep going. The tragedy here is this: while you can take that whistleblower report as fake and dismiss it, but political scientists will tell you that when a lie is repeated, or when a narrative is repeated, whether you take it a lie or not, you might take it as a lie, but when it is repeated, it will sink in people's mind. And before we know, we are going to have a conversation between the 8 million and the 7.1. It will not be about Raila's votes in 8 million and 6.9. It will actually bring the debate about illegitimacy. That debate, I see it coming. And that's why I listened to Raila speaking, and he's trying to diverge more on these servers. I'm one person who I was a bit skeptical, to say the truth. I was a bit skeptical of whether this was just a plan to just start a conversation and it ends there. or rather diversionary as other people might have taken it, because the IEBC commissioners are appearing before tribunal and there are a lot of, or maybe Chebukati murder story. But I think it was not diversionary. I wanted to listen to Raila's speech here.
Nataka mwelewe vizuri. Vile ilikuwa servers, sasa tuligundua kulikuwa usiku na servers 4. Ngapi? Moja ilikuwa kule Holland. Kule ndani ya mawingu huko in the clouds. Pili ilikuwa nyingine kule Venezuela. Kule mbaya kuna mtu anaitwa Jose Camargo. Tatu ilikuwa hapa katika Anniversary Towers pale ambayo IEBC iko. 4 ilikuwa moja katika industrial area huko chini. Alafu katika Bomas of Kenya kulikuwa na kitu inaitwa the portal pale ambayo sasa ili matokeo ilikuwa naingia. Kati ya hizi servers 4, moja peke yake ndiyo ilikuwa natuma matokeo kwa Bomas. Na hiyo ilikuwa ile server ya Venezuela ya yule mtu anaitwa Jose Camargo. Leona alikuwa anapata hiyo matokeo, anabadilisha zile za Raila, anapatia Ruto. Hasa hapa mtukua wakati hapa anachukua hizi, anabadilisha, anapatia pande ile, alafu anarusha, inakuja hapo Bomas of Kenya. Tunaelewana vizuri? Hii ndio sababu mnaona katika mahakama mawakili yetu walitoa mfano. Yule msichana Soweto alitoa mfano apayo ilikuwa na ile sei ya yule Camargo. Simuliona hiyo sei ya Camargo? Kwa hivyo yale ambayo iko pale hakuna mtu ambaye anaweza kukanya. Unaona wamekaa kimya. Hiyo ni ukweli mtupu, hiyo matokeo. Tangu itoke mpaka leo Chebukati na wenzake hawajatoka, hajaongea. Hata yule mbana yetu asiji Marjan Hussein hajaongea, yeye yuko pale. Maana yake hiyo ni ukweli mtupu. Nimerushwa na mtu ambaye anafanya kazi na IEBC. Kila mara alikuwa anambia we have not been given access to the servers. Mara mingi zaidi sio wanasema namna hiyo. He had no access to the servers. Alafu hiyo kampuni inaitwa Smartmatic aliandika barua. Na barua hiyo tuko naye ya kusema ati we cannot allow access to the servers because doing so will infringe on our proprietary rights and interfere with the results of elections elsewhere. Hii ni kampuni ambaye iliajiriwa na Kenya. Hii kampuni imeajiriwa na Kenya fanya services hapa kwetu. Sasa kuna dispute juu ya matokeo. Unaambia fungua hii sanduku, fungua server tuangalie kitu gani ilipo ndani yake, wanakataa. Alafu mahakama inaenda kukubaliana na wao. Shame on them. Shame on them. Shame on them.
When we were watching this video home, I was asking myself a question. Who is feeding Raila with the IEBC intelligence? Who is it? Because for some of this information to come out now, it means there is a serious leakage from the Pulse body. And now that I have listened to Jeremiah Kioni saying that Uhuru Kenyatta still insists that he did not, is also associating with Raila Odinga's message. IEBC is silent while Azimio la Umoja are running away with the whistleblower facts. I know it could be understood that because it's a political process, they can only respond when they're charged. There is the legal process, but the political narratives also dent the image of the commission. So the custodian of these figures is actually the IEBC. What would you expect? Even though Raila have insisted the server was never opened, Raila have insisted the letter from the Smartmatic, he has made allegations on someone inside. I think what the IEBC can do, they can even tell us, of course not profiling stuff, but they can tell us the process of figures. Do we have all these servers that we're talking about? What is the rejoinder of that? But that silence is actually helping Raila because he seems to be the only voice. I have seen the Kenya Kwanza team trying to counter Raila. But remember, both them and Raila are in the same game. The arbiter here is the IEBC. So when you keep quiet, people tend to buy what Raila is saying. And that's why I say their silence, though very suspicious, but it's an aiding tool to the opposition wing. And that's what I'm saying. Before, in the next few months, Kenyans will be convinced and they will take it that it's true Raila won the elections. Now, that will be the start of what is called resistance against an administration. Now, their silence have also helped Raila to visualize the narrative. And it will sink. Look at, if you look at the post I've just shared with you, right? That one that Jeremiah Kioni was sharing. What Jeremiah Kioni was sharing was simply trying to tell people that we believe in what we are saying. And you might see that in the next few days, in the next subsequent rallies that maybe you'll be organizing, you'll see more of that visualization, that 8 million shirts and merchandise, things of that sort. These visualization tools will get to the streets and people will be walking. Unaingia gari unapata mtu amevaa gari shati inaitwa 8 million because people will take it. Election reform revolution can be well fueled by the economic push. I know IEBC has left it for the politicians to do it themselves. And the way Raila is holding on these figures and the way they're using different tools to visualize that narrative to the population, it actually, it portrays election reform revolution. But that election reform revolution will be fueled by the economic hardships because politics and development are together. There are Kenyans that will feel that in Raila, things are going to be different. And in Ruto, there's no difference. So because of that hard economic push, the pain will sink, and before you know, it can get worse. Credibility threshold is low in public, and that's why IEBC is quiet. Already the discussion is on whether we are going to have people are going to participate in the next general election or not. The credibility threshold is low. IEBC doesn't have it, and that's why they're silent. But I want to ask a question. Could it be that the voice or the fact that Azimio la Umoja are releasing are actually true in conformity with what is in the servers? Because I know anything they will say, the opposition wing will actually tell them, don't give us stories, open the servers, let's see what you have. It's as simple as that. Okay, so I know one thing that Azimio has missed is, I understand this is a political process, and when it's in the street, it doesn't hold, it doesn't have the fabric, it doesn't have the legal fabric for it. Even if server was supposed to be open, which court order, where, you can't open a server because someone has said in a rally. I wish they try a process, a legal process, maybe not on, even if it might not touch on the presidency, but they should go to the street And when they're talking about them in the rallies, there should be a parallel legal process going on so that it just supports, it just gives that a legal process the goodwill. Because anyway, even if IBC is supposed to open, how is the court order? It's not a visit of 2020. So whether someone can do a petition on maybe servers to be opened, on audit, that will take a shape, or maybe there is a commission inquiry, the opposition could push this in the parliament. Then through that, as they talk about it in the rallies, there is already fabric. That is how the how part is going to be executed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. I don't know whether you also believe that the 8 million figures by the whistleblower is actually sinking in public.